It is Friday, July 19th. Today is day 28 of my 90-day novel writing challenge. Yesterday I had a very serendipitous day where I was able to piece my first attempt at this novel, some segments of it, into the current version. So I got to have some downtime to regroup and recenter in my journey of writing this novel in 90 days. The outcome is to have a minimum of 90,000 words by the end of this challenge. That's an average about 1,000 words a day, and I've been pretty good with that average. I'm actually a little bit ahead of schedule, but I keep that for a little margin just in case for backup. Anyways, Fridays or Saturdays, I usually try to upload some segments of my novel to Kindle Vella. And I had been asked about that, so I'm gonna make a little video showing what I do. So this video is for you, Acastor Writes. I hope it's helpful and makes it a little bit easier to get on board with Kindle Vella. A little backstory on Kindle Vella. I actually started trying my hand at it a few years ago. This was in the beginning stages of my entry into fiction writing. And after several attempts, I gave up on it because I was like, I don't know what I'm writing, I don't know what I'm doing, and life. Then several years later, to present day, I started seeing some traction on some of my old stories. I was very, very pleasantly surprised because looking back on those stories now, they were such garbage. My writing has changed so much since. But then I thought, why not go at it again while I'm in this 90-day challenge writing my story? I can upload some segments as I go along to help keep me motivated. So that's the idea of why I'm uploading and pre-releasing on Kindle Vella. Also, my thinking was that if I absolutely ended up hating the story at the end of it, at the end of this journey, I was like, well, at least it's on Kindle Vella and it can be enjoyed there, and maybe won't be published necessarily, but at least it's still an enjoyable story. And in my mind, the story I'm writing now is far better than the ones that have started seeing some activity on Kindle Vella anyway, so I was like, why not? On one aspect, it's to further my accountability in finishing the story, but also because, you know, there's nothing to lose in putting yourself out there on another platform that's relatively simple and easy to use and, you know, pain-free. So long as you have your story, it's a simple matter of uploading. And then in terms of how it gets pushed out to an audience, I think Amazon automatically does that. I'm not sure if there's like advertising for Kindle Vella. There probably is, I wouldn't be surprised if there were, but Amazon pushes out your stories, and if you end up getting an audience through Kindle Vella, that's an awesome way to launch your novel. So we're gonna start off by going to Amazon KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, and then you're gonna go to Manage Kindle Vella Stories. Visit Kindle Vella, it'll take you to the platform. And then if you're creating a new one, you would start a story here. When you first make a story, you do have to create an icon, and Amazon has specs for that. But once you have that set up, then you can either go to manage your story or create a new episode. I'm gonna go to manage your story so we can see what all I have so far. I have 17 episodes. On Kindle Vella, the first 10 are free for readers, and then they require tokens to unlock the future ones. So I already have 17 episodes so far. I'm gonna go to create new episode. And then in the title, it's optional. Then you go down here to the body of the text. There is a minimum requirement, so let me just paste a sample. Yeah, so it has to be at least 600 words per episode. Anyways, I will go over to the segment I want to upload in my running document. I just use Microsoft Word to keep it simple. No fancy writing software, but I'm at chapter 13, so I'm going to take a segment. It's a long one. Yeah. Sometimes I'll break up the chapters if they're super long. So then I just paste them into the segment over here. And then there's an author notes section, which is optional. Polls are optional. I think it's a great way to get some feedback if you want to ask, readers for some input, but I don't really like using it. So then they have this AI generated content prompt. No, because I did not use AI. And then this is what I really like, the preview episode. So I open preview and it shows me what it'll look like for readers. So that's what it'll look like. Actually make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and I like this because this is what allows me to make some fast edits. I think the way the screen is very narrow, it's very easy for the eye to read fast. So from this page, I'll do some quick edits just to make sure that everything sounds right and flows right. It's also to refresh my memory on what I've written so far. I'll read you guys a little snippet. Ambrosia transformed into her chimera's shape that she could navigate the unseeable and explore the strange land. Her chimera's nostrils quivered from the unfamiliar scents that engulfed her, pronounced by the humidity which congealed the evening and hung upon her creature's coarse fur. Ambrosia sniffed the air. She sensed she was near a body of water and made her way in its direction, thinking of the prophecy that was delivered to her from Isla's mouth. The entity which had possessed Isla had spoken in Chimera's tongue, and Ambrosia had understood the message clearly. She had not disclosed this to Jared, Blaine, and Isla because she thought the timing wrong for them to know the whole truth. They had no justification to believe her word completely, so Ambrosia only described the utterances as they heard them and could vouch for in consensus. So I am satisfied with that segment, and then you can choose a schedule release, but I just go ahead and publish. So we're going to do yes. And then we click done. And then you'll see over here it's in review. KDP will review the episode and then send you an email when it's officially published. And that's Kindle Vella. Some leftover pizza for lunch. I want to give some context for my first attempt at this novel a couple years ago. I got to 7,204 words before I threw in the towel. Fast forward to present day, I am at 28,355. It is noon. I'm gonna stitch another 1,000 words from that original document and then call it a day. I'm gonna decompress and also continue to think about how I want to progress with the story. It is 12:35 and I'm at 29,248 words. And that's a wrap.